In Hot Topics, we talked about Trump saying the government would reassess the recommended period for keeping businesses shut and people at home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
What? Yeah, that was Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden saying something. That was weird. Slightly embarrassing. So what was he talking about? Well, look, he was talking about the response to Donald Trump, saying that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself. And so later on in that video, of course, Joe Biden's like, well, we got to do the social distancing thing, and we got to do that and this and all that. Okay, right. Now, I agree with him on that substance. I think we do need to shut down the economy to limit the spread of COVID-19. That has taken the toll on the markets. And so there's an economic disaster right now. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of states have instituted stay-at-home orders, closed businesses like restaurants and sporting events. We could have unemployment up to 30%. And so, look, you've got a lot of Republicans that are freaking out about the economic damage of doing what the medical community says is necessary to protect the population. This has led Republicans to say that they would rather sacrifice grandma for the greater good of the markets or something. So there's the Republicans, right? Now, on the other side, you have Bernie Sanders that has been holding lots of town halls, right? Virtual town halls, of course, online, roundtable discussions with doctors and legislators in order to discuss solutions. One of the solutions he has, of course, is calling for $2,000 a month UBI until the crisis is over, and a moratorium on rent, mortgages, increased unemployment benefits for tip workers, people in the gig economy. He successfully got an amendment placed into the Senate bill in order to help people that are normally not helped by unemployment benefits. And not only that, but calling for free testing and treatment for anybody who's affected. And of course, saying that we should not bail out big corporations at all. And so that's Bernie Sanders. But now you have Joe Biden saying something. I don't know. Look, I'm not confident in this man's ability to lead. In another interview, by the way, which, by the way, took him a week to set up. He needed a week to set up a studio and to broadcast when you could broadcast from one of these. I mean, I could do the whole show from my phone if I wanted to. Just don't want to. Doesn't look very good. But you could do it. Why wouldn't he? Why did he have to have a whole setup? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but anyway, in another interview on The View, he said that he didn't want to have a political fight with Donald Trump over this entire thing. Take a look.
What do you say to Americans who feel that Democrats are, in a way, politicizing the issue and that we should be standing behind the president because this is an American problem?
I think there's truth to both sides. That's why, if you notice on what I've been doing, I've not been criticizing the president, but I've been pointing out where there's disagreement as to how to proceed. As I pointed out yesterday in a presentation I made online, which I guess 3.5 million people watched it or something like that, I was told, is that he's not, the coronavirus is not his fault. But the lack of speed and alacrity with which to respond to it has to move much faster. I don't think we want, as I pointed out, this is not about Democrat or Republican. This is not about what your party is. It's about getting through this. And the American people don't want us in a political fight, and I want no part of a political fight either. But when the president says things that, in fact, turn out not to be accurate, we should not say you're lying. We should say, Mr. President, that's not the fact. Here's the deal.
We should say, hey, President, that's That's the facts. Here's the deal. Or that's not the facts. This is the deal, right? Oh, but wait a minute. Donald Trump is lying. You can't just be like, no, we're not going to say that he's lying. I'm not going to call him a liar, even though he's very clearly a liar. He's lying about things, and he's actually putting people's lives in danger. But I'm not going to call him out on that because I don't want to have a political fight with him. Dude, you're running for president against him. It is a political fight. It is a political fight. So why don't you fight him on this? His response to this has been disastrous. Okay? He gets up in the lectern and he lies. He says, oh, it's going to be over by the spring, right? It gets killed in warm weather, so we're not going to even have to worry about it. You should just go back to work. And then we're going to go back to work by April. No. And again, it's not even addressing just, the facts that he gets wrong about this crisis. Look, Donald Trump's advice got a man killed, as I said. There was a couple that listened to the president about chloroquine, right? So they took this chloroquine, right? And there's an anti-malarial drug with that name, but there's also a fish tank cleaner with the same name, chloroquine phosphate. Well, this couple, they didn't know the difference. All they heard was Donald Trump saying, you could take this chloroquine drug and it'll be safe and you'll be safe from COVID. And then, yes, the husband died and the wife is alive, just barely in intensive care. You know what she says? Her message is, don't listen at all to what the president says. You've got to be strong. You have to take a strong stance against Donald Trump. You can't say, oh, now that's a little bit of malarkey. Now, here's the deal, Fats. No, you got to be like, this guy's an unbelievable, unhinged liar. He is dangerous. He is a liar. Don't listen to him. He's going to get you killed. Look, Bernie Sanders is like, still calls him a sexist, obviously, racist, xenophobic, says he's a pathological liar. That's the language that you want to use. Pathological liar, because you know why? You know why you want to say that? Because it's true. It's the truth. God, their civility is going to kill us. But understand that's what it's about. Joe Biden is totally unprepared to take on Donald Trump because he thinks that, oh, no, Donald Trump, no, he's just like one of those other politicians that I took on and, back in the 1980s. That's what that is. And we could all just be civil and get along and all that. Did you miss the entire last election? Have you not paid attention at all, Joe? I know Trump calls him Sleepy Joe. Maybe he was sleeping the whole time. Maybe he missed how vicious Donald Trump is going to be. Donald Trump's not going to take it easy on you. You've got to hit him, and you've got to hit him hard. This civility crap is, look, you can't play patty cakes with him because Donald Trump's not going to play patty cakes with you. He's going to Donkey Kong you in the head over and over again. And so, Joe, if you're not going to be strong, you're going to lose. You're going to lose to Donald Trump. I can't believe I have to, try to advise Biden on strategy, but he's unbelievably weak. And so, you're going to get attacked. You already are getting attacked, by the way, in right-wing media, because it seems like you're having a very difficult time forming a coherent thought. But situations like this is why Joe Biden is not a leader, right? He hid from the public. He let Trump say whatever he wants for weeks, right? Being unchallenged. You've ceded the narrative to Donald Trump. And you know what happened because of that? Donald Trump's approval rating over this crisis has increased. He now has majority support for the way he's handled this situation. when people who pay attention, we know that he has had a horrible response to this entire thing. This is what happens when you give up the conversation. Of course, the media is like, oh my God, Joe Biden, I love Joe Biden. Oh my God, what a leader, presidential. But when Bernie Sanders holds roundtables with doctors, medical professionals, and legislators to come up with legislation that is strong enough to be able to weather a financial crisis, he gets attacked for not being in Washington, right? You didn't vote in a cloture vote. Being not present for a cloture vote is a no vote. And the Senate bill that they were voting at the time was even worse than the one that is in the Senate right now. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's bad faith. These are bad faith actors in the media, and I'm including people from The View. Bad faith media actors that are propping up a candidate that is not prepared to take on Donald Trump. Just like they did in 2016, they're doing it now. They're doing it again, and we're going to have the same result because you know what? It's that entire saying, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. The Democratic establishment has done the same thing over and over and over, put up a moderate centrist against a populist, a right-wing populist, and they lose every single time. And they always go, oh, we need to nominate the electable one that's more electable, which means moderate centrist, which means we're going to give corporations everything they want. Oh, turns out they lost to the right-wing populist that criticizes money in politics. But then, of course, is super, super corrupt anyway. They're doing the same thing with Joe Biden. He's going to lose to Donald Trump. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame us for pointing all this stuff out. They'll come back to this video 2 years from now or a year from now and be like, I can't believe you would go and criticize Joe Biden. You're the reason he lost. No, this is the reason he lost. This is the reason. Endless frustration. You point out the things that they're doing wrong over and over again in the hopes that maybe people would wise up and not go with the establishment candidate for once to take on a populist. But in the end, of course, we're always the bad guy because we're pointing out how woefully unprepared these moderate centrists are, these establishment types are, to take on right-wing populists. And you know what? I think they prefer it that way because in the end, they win. Nothing changes. They keep getting tax cuts and their donors get paid. And so that's all they care about at the end of the day. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.